Well, let's talk about what we're doing here. So, what we are doing here is we are going to learn and experience a preventative holistic medicine called Ayurveda. And the reason I do it this way is because for me, I believe that knowledge without action and action without knowledge is absolutely useless. So I could sit here and I could talk to you till I'm blue in the face. And if you're not actually having the experience of it, I promise you at the end of us meeting and learning and even reading, you're not going to know that much about Ayurveda, because Ayurveda is about living. It's about you, it's about your body, it's about your mind, it's about your soul, it's about every aspect of your being. It's about living. So you have to live the experience. I used to do private consults, and I found it very frustrating. You know, in 2 hours, I just couldn't teach anybody enough to change their life. And I also found that people wanted an herbal remedy. And I will tell you that herbs are wonderful and herbs are powerful. Herbs are superficial. If you don't take your herbs in conjunction with lifestyle modification, with behavior modification, with dealing with your crud, the herbs aren't going to do anything. So I came up with this program because I thought it would be fun to take you out of your life, which may include daily trips to McDonald's and late night TV and sitting on your couch, and just push you into this amazing, beautiful experience. And I did it for fun, and at the end of it, people were just feeling great. I mean, it was really, really amazing. So I've been perfecting this now for a few years. I think I've got it nailed, and that's what you're going to learn about, Ayurveda. So Ayurveda is a Sanskrit word. Ayurveda is from India, so it's over 5,000 years old. The word Ayurveda means science of life, and it's really about learning to live with nature's rhythms. So if you think about nature, think about when you're in bed in the morning and then all the birdies start chirping. I mean, isn't it amazing they all start chirping around the same time every single day? You know, nobody sets an alarm clock for those guys. Nobody explains to them that you're supposed to chirp at 5 in the morning. They just start chirping, you know? And then it's amazing that they stop. All of a sudden, it's just quiet again, and the world gets really quiet again. I think it's amazing at noon, everybody is going out to lunch. You know, is that because lunchtime is at noon because your corporation says that's when your lunch break is? No, everybody's at lunch at noon. I think it's amazing that's when we get hungry. I think it's amazing the frogs at night, again, start chirping. You know, how do they know to do this? They are so amazingly in tune with the rhythms of nature. They're in tune with the seasonal changes. They're in tune with the pull of the moon on the earth. And so are you. You are a frog. You are that birdie. You know, you are in tune with it because you already are getting hungry at noon, because I'm waiting in line to get my lunch. You're all out there. But we've masked ourselves in this layer of busyness. You know, we do and we push and we run, and we lose context of these natural rhythms. So we don't go to bed when we're supposed to go to bed, and we don't get up, and we don't rest, and we don't make good choices. And Ayurveda is all about harnessing all of that in. So the legend of Ayurveda, from these wonderful, amazing books called the Vedanta, is that the ancient seers and sages of India, you know, and we're talking the yogis on the mountaintop sitting cross-legged for 10 hours a day, they sat in meditation and they sat in contemplation, and they asked spirit or the cosmic mind or God the same questions we ask today. Why am I here? What is my life's purpose? How can I stay healthy and young and vibrant? And the cosmic mind spoke to them and gave them the texts of the Vedanta. And the texts of the Vedanta are books of poetry that basically cover all aspects of living. And it's amazing what they knew 5,000 years ago. They knew that the earth went around the sun. They knew that the earth rotated on an axis. They knew that the moon went around the earth. They knew how to diagnose and treat diabetes 5,000 years ago. And no, they did not have insulin, but they had something that did help to facilitate a better quality of life for a diabetic. Even back then, they knew how to do some minor surgeries, and they knew how to deliver complicated births. And they knew a lot of other things too. So it's amazing what these ancients knew. Now, is any of that ancient knowledge relevant today? Yes. Ayurveda is the most widely practiced preventative holistic medicine in America today. And the reason that it is that Ayurveda doesn't conflict with Western medicine. And our Western medicine system is failing on many levels. You know, your physician doesn't have time to address your basic needs. You go in with a heart condition, he can give you the medicine he's trying to give you, but he doesn't have time to understand that you have a stressful job and that your wife is leaving you and that you're unhappy and you've been unhappy for a long time. He can give you to a social worker who's going to help you. He can give you to a nutritionist, but then you have to follow through. And it's confusing. So Ayurveda makes things really simple and really basic, and Western physicians are loving it because it's getting you guys out of their offices. I haven't been to the doctor, other than my female doctor visits that you go to every year. I haven't even been to a doctor in 4 years. Yeah, I just simply do not get sick anymore. It's amazing. What does this mean? We are these bits and pieces of nature. What this means is that within you resides all the same things that are in the frog, in the bird, in the tree, and in and out of everything else on the entire planet. So everything is made of these basic elements. There's 5 of them. There's space, there is water, there is wind, there is fire, and there is earth. So the legend of Ayurveda is they sat in meditation and God spoke to them and gave them these beautiful texts that we've interpreted. Or maybe it's more true that they simply observed nature and they thought, wow, when they're watching a fire, if I put a piece of wood in this fire, it transforms and it comes out ash. I must have a fire in my stomach because when I eat, it transforms and it comes out something else on the other side. And then maybe they watched the wind blowing a leaf through the air, and it went this way, and it went that way, and it went up and down, and suddenly it stopped, and then it picked up again. And they thought, wow, that leaf on that wind is just like my thoughts. I'm here, I'm there, I'm thinking, and suddenly I just go really quiet. I must have wind in my brain. And then one day they're out, plowing the field, and there's a big boulder sitting in the middle of it, and they try to move the boulder. And they push, and they push, and they push. And it takes them so much energy and effort to get that boulder moving. They finally pause with aching muscles, and they think, wow, I must have earth in my body, because I really can't change my bones very much. And it's really, really hard for me to change my muscles, and it's really, really hard for me to change when I put on some weight. I must have the same boulders living inside my body. And I think they just took all of this and they applied it somehow to their medical diagnosis of us. So those are the elements. And that's from Henry David Thoreau. It says, shall I not have intelligence with the earth? Am I not partly leaves and vegetable mold myself? And I will send you guys a reading list because you're going to do a lot of quiet time and a lot of reading, and you're going to be amazed at some of our poets, how insanely spiritual they were. Emerson and Thoreau, and then there's Rumi and Hafiz. So I'll send you a whole list of those guys to start enjoying.